Each year, millions of Americans rivet their attention on the Super Bowl. American culture is rooted in football, with weekend watching parties, apps that track team predictions, and exciting, heart-pounding adrenaline when their favorite team make that winning score. However, an often overlooked aspect of football is the physical tax each player must pay. Players young and grown receive multiple head blows, resulting in major and minor injuries throughout their lifetime. This has led some to wonder how much protection helmets actually offer. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, is a condition where the brain has received severe damage as a result of repetitive blows to the head. The brain is a very powerful organ, complicated and very delicate. When a person receives a blow to the head, even with a helmet, the brain bounces and twists inside the skull. This damage often results in a concussion. The Harvard Health Institution states that the typical football player, over the course of high school, college, and pro career, will encounter thousands, if not 10,000s, of hits to the head. These types of hits are damaging to the brain, even with helmets on. Repeated concussions throughout a lifetime can be fatal. From Little League to NFL, these players are hit and hit hard, often with a severe damage to the brain that will slowly manifest itself over time. This can result in death or severe psychological impact. Taken lightly, the symptoms of this disease begin slowly and worsen over time. It is often 8 to 10 years before symptoms even begin to arise by then. The damage has been done. Beginning symptoms are quite subtle, with headaches, lots of attention, and short-term memory loss. So subtle, in fact, that players continue to play football, receiving additional blows to the head. As the disease progresses, most subjects show profound loss of attention and concentration, executive dysfunction, language difficulties, explosive tendencies, paranoia, depression, gait, and biospatial difficulties. Their deaths are violent, often self-afflicted as a result of severe depressive and aggressive symptoms. Philip Adams, Vincent Jackson, Junior Seau, age 43, died from a suicidal gunshot wound to the chest. Dave Duranson, age 50, suicide. Patriots running back Kevin Turner and Aaron Hernandez also died violently from self-inflicted wounds. John Bletcher, 25, linebacker, killed his girlfriend before shooting himself in 2012. And the list goes on. Over 300 deceased football players and over 4,000 living football players have been formally diagnosed with CTE. In addition, 1.6 to 3.8 million football-related traumatic brain injuries have been occurred.
So feel old. I think it's been 20 years now playing football since I was 6 or 7. I played, growing up in Layton Little League, eventually making it to, Layton High School. Went off to college in 2013, the University of Hawaii. Stayed there for 4 years, and in 2017, I was picked up as an undrafted free agent with Kansas City. I was there basically my entire career for 5 years. Had a small 3-week stint in Miami, but outside of that, I've been in Kansas City my entire career. So that's my playing path.
That's awesome. Thank you. So to start things off, so I got a couple questions for you. So the first one is about how many football helmets have you had while playing in the NFL, and how often do you replace them?
Sure. Um, don't know if I could tell you the exact number. Most people will replace their helmet at the recommendation of the equipment managers, probably every couple years.
Okay.
The NFL has been doing a lot of research into obviously concussions and helmets. So they usually send an updated list every year with the best helmets and the worst helmets. And if you're in any of the bad helmets, then you have to upgrade regardless of how long you've had it or not. Some people have preferences and they keep their helmets a little longer than maybe recommended, but most people are up to date on safety measures and renewing their helmet when it's necessary.
The NFL has taken strides in helping players select more current helmet technologies. Campolento and his research team analyzed a variety of helmets that were certified for player use and found that newer technologies are better at providing safety from head injury. Newer helmet styles across all manufacturers provide a significant difference in G-force ratings. Based on findings of the studies, essentially, it is recommended that the NFL and Little League continue to dive deeper into updating them with newer, more advanced technologies to improve player safety across all football fields.
Um, well, the first thing is that the technology has progressed as I've progressed through football. So, each year, each milestone I hit, generally there's better helmets as I go. So, Little League, I can't say much about the specifics because it was a while ago. But I can tell you, just in my short time in the NFL, that the technology has changed in such a manner that every year something new is coming out to protect your head. So I can say that I've progressed every time I've moved up a level in the safety of the helmet.
Gotcha.
The cool things about the ones now, is they're pretty knowledgeable of how to stabilize your how you're using your head. So I think that a lot of the technology is really moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you. So the next question I have, what kind of football helmet do you have and why did you choose that one? You can tell me about that.
Sure. So right now I have the Revo Speed. I think actually I have a few right here. So this is the helmet I used this year.
Okay.
So this is a Riddell Speed Flex. Like I said, they upgrade. So this model has been around for a long time, but they increased the technology within it. Things like this that weren't on the earlier models.
Yeah.
I wore something similar to this in college and seemed to fit right. So as I got in the NFL, I kind of stayed in that type of style. And then, like I said, they upgraded the technology. I have worn, a few different helmets throughout camp, but I've mainly stayed in the Riddell Speed Flex. I can't say that I know a lot about the technology and
Oh no, that's okay.
but I know that it felt comfortable and I thought it looked nice, so that's what I've stayed with.
Have you ever had a concussion in your football career? If so, did you keep playing or did you keep using the same helmet? You can tell me about that.
Sure. So I've never been diagnosed with a concussion.
Okay.
I've stayed, I think I've done a good job of staying away from head injuries in my career, or I've been lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it. So I feel good about that. I have had maybe a few times in my career that I've felt, not as normal, a little dazed, confused, things like that within a normal game. And so that can be a scary moment. It's never turned out to be a concussion. They do a lot of testing on the sidelines. And most recently it was last season, just hitting your head a little bit harder on the ground than normal. And, sometimes that could shake you up. But again, I went through the intense testing protocols and I was cleared. And by the time I came back from those protocols, I felt pretty normal. So never been diagnosed with a concussion. Never had to sit out any time because of a head injury. I would imagine if I felt that my helmet was unsafe that I would switch, but like I said, I've been pretty solid with what I think my choice in the helmet is, and I always try to choose. I mentioned that list of the good helmets and bad helmets. I try to choose, or at least hope that my helmet is on that top end of that list, so I can stay safe.
What we want is just that for all football players to feel safe. We want all players to have minimal effects of concussions and certainly want to protect them from the devastating effects of CTE brain trauma. Ultimately, what is at stake here is our children, our beloved sports heroes, and our love for the game. A push for greater helmet safety could save their lives. The NFL, medical professionals, and fans need to step up and take action to continually improve and research helmet safety. We must protect our children and athletes while still preserving the sport we love.